My name is Leo Connors, and welcome to The Ring and All Other Sports. And tonight, I got a very special guest for his 10th, 12th time.
At least, number one. I'm right, me. That's me. Camera number 2, that's me.
Yeah, that is you.
Yes.
So, Sonny Goodspeed.
Leo, how you been, buddy?
I am great.
Been a little while.
Are you? I'm tired, but I'm great.
Yes. Yeah,
we got so much to talk about in the world of wrestling, and I got a whole bunch of fan questions because you're popular.
I'm a popular guy.
You're a popular guy.
Been around a little bit, so
you've been around
tend
quite
to make
a bit.
some friends.
Yes.
Maybe some enemies.
Yep. First question is from Mike Hollow.
Oh, I know.
Question for Sonny. What have you learned about the pro wrestling business over the last year?
It can be dirty, for sure. But I'm going to tell you the one thing I learned about Mike Hollow. So Mike Hollow and I broke in kind of around the same time.
Right.
But he broke in with Kowalski. I broke in with Costa. We never met, right? We ran the same circuit, right? Doing the same thing. Never met until last year.
Wow.
I got to tell you.
That's weird.
It's so bizarre, right?
Yeah.
But I had always heard weird things about Hollow. Like, he could be an ass or whatever, right? He's a real pain in the butt or whatever. From the moment I sat and talked with him, I felt like we'd known each other for 30 years. Right. And I regret not ever meeting him earlier than that. So that's one of the things I in the past years, just keep an open mind, you know. Right. As I'm 50, I just turned 50 on Saturday.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. I found that the older I get, the softer I get. You know what I mean? Right. I don't keep that hard edge anymore. I don't need to, I don't let negativity crowd my mind. So things I had about people in the past, I'm just like, I don't really care anymore. It just doesn't, I don't need that negativity in my life. Right. And I don't let it occupy any space. So I regret not meeting Hollow earlier and maybe taking word of people saying that he wasn't a good guy, you know, because he definitely, I would consider him one of my closest friends at this point. You know, he's a really, really good guy.
Nice. And that's amazing. I didn't know that. I've actually known Mike Hollow longer than you.
Yeah.
That's
isn't that crazy? Yeah.
And I haven't known him that long.
Yeah, but you're right. Never met.
He's a great guy.
Great guy. He's funny. He's still like in great shape. I think he just turned 55. Like he's just in great shape. He's in the ring all the time at practice, you know, working these guys. It's awesome. He's just a great guy.
Nice,
so,
nice. Yeah, he is a great guy.
Yeah.
All right, next question from JP Griffin. Big old JP.
Yes, sir.
JP the Giant.
JP the Giant.
You have been a part of a few pro wrestling schools. What sets them apart from each other?
So
great question.
That's a great question. Like I got to tell you, so I have been a part of a few. Where I'm at now with Elite Pro Wrestling Academy with Scott Reed, Mike Hollow, and myself. I don't consider myself a main trainer. I'm there, and because physically I can't get in the ring right now. Monday I'm having shoulder surgery. Oh, wow. I'm hoping to have a knee replacement by the end of this year.
Like Mav.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it all just hit me, hit me. So I'm hoping to have all this done by the end of the year. So physically I can't get in there and do all the things I used to do. I so want to, but I like to coach from the outside. But I think with Hollow, Scott and myself, you have a mixture of guys. Like Scott is still, he's been in the business 20 years, but he's still young enough that he knows that style, that he can do the run and gun. Hollow and I focus a lot on the fundamentals part of it. Right. And then I bring a lot of entertainment. Like I was always a guy with a whole lot of show, not a lot of go. So like the mixture of us is amazing. So right now I would say, personally, my favorite spot is at Elite. Of the schools I visited, Ryan Drew at Top Rope Academy, I think always does an amazing job. Right. And I think he's severely underrated. I agree. For the guys that he's put out of there. Right. Think about the guys he's had a hand in. Right. Vinny, Matt Taven.
Bennett,
he had a little hand in.
Unreal.
Nico Silva.
Yeah.
You know,
Nico is on fire, man. He looks so good. You went the other night. He looked so good.
Just a ton of guys. Little Mean Kathleen.
Yes.
There's a BRG.
Channing Thomas.
There's a ton of these guys that that Ryan just doesn't get the credit for having a hand in, and he should. He should definitely be way more recognized than he is. And for all the times I slighted you, Ryan, I'm apologizing now.
Wow.
On national television in front of the millions.
Millions and millions
of people.
I used to have 6 viewers. Now I have millions.
Well,
I definitely have a lot more.
Because now you have the because now you have the pen behind you.
Yes, the pen.
The pen.
Yep,
yeah.
absolutely.
There you go.
Hey, I want to just backtrack 1 second because I believe Mike Hollow's the best trainer in New England. In the ring, showing you everything.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I would absolutely agree. One of the things we focus on a lot at Elite is not just the in-ring stuff. We talk about the out-of-the-ring stuff, right?
Right.
How you behave at a show.
Very
things
important.
like hygiene, like things you wouldn't think about, right? Some people just want to come in and collect that money and then go, here's how you do it. Here's how you do a headlock. Here's how you do a back body drop. But they don't talk about here's how you like Bob Evans always says, you have to serve, right?
Another good trainer.
Another good trainer, right? But that's the God's honest truth. You have to go to these shows. You have to say, hey, what is it I can do to help you tonight? You tell me, I'm here to help you.
Yeah.
And then you just sit and you watch and you learn and you do whatever's needed, right? You don't go screw off in the back and try to make friends or whatever. There'll be time for that because you're going to put in your time doing those, serving. So you're going to get that opportunity because, a guy like Pat Dillon's going to be like, hey, man, that kid's always here helping me out.
Right.
Let's give him a shot in the Battle Royal, or somebody didn't show up tonight. Let's give him a shot.
Right.
And that happens. That happens all the time, right? So these are the things we try to help these kids with. We try to help just in general in life, like, finding jobs and just doing those kind of things, like just life advice.
Right.
It's and Hollow and myself and Reed, we take a personal interest in all those students. And try to help them out, and however we can, and make them better athletes and better professional wrestlers, better people.
Right. And you're definitely right on that because you talked to me saying how you guys want Ronnie, a guest here recently.
Yes, Ronnie Maestro.
How you want him to succeed. And Mike said the same thing.
Yeah.
That they're really, both you guys are taking a real interest in him to help him everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
Yeah. And sometimes, Ronnie, this, can't get out of your own way. So we have to kick you in the ass a little bit, get you out of your own way.
That's all right, because you care.
Because we care, right? We do it because if we didn't care, we wouldn't care.
Yeah.
We just wouldn't reach out to you. We wouldn't ask you if you're going to be at practice. We wouldn't ask you how your job's going.
Just take that money.
Yeah, we
That's
just
what
take
you
the
would
money
do,
and go,
right?
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. Glad you brought up Ryan though, because I just missed him the other day. He came out to see me and I was at the car.
Ryan's
doing
such a good
something
guy.
that I probably shouldn't have.
Yeah. I've known Ryan a long time and he's just such a good guy.
Yeah.
And like I said, just severely underrated, and that should change.
Right. Yeah. Kind of like what you said, though, about Mike Holloway. You felt like you've known, I swear, Aaron Morrison and Ryan Drew, I had them on. By the time the show was over, I thought we were friends for 20 years.
Yeah.
They really are that
people.
type of guys.
Just good people.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Third question from Ronnie Maestro.
Oh.
Nice. Any chances of an in-ring return? I don't know about with the shoulder surgery. Even if it's a small run, I would love to see a dream match with you and Congo. I would like to see you in there with Congo in a dream match. Congo, we hope you're doing better.
Yes, Congo, please get better. I reach out to Congo a lot and make sure he's doing okay. He's for those of you who don't know, Congo just had a stroke, and he's rehabilitating right now. He's getting his feet back under him, so hopefully he'll be back soon. But Congo is probably the only guy that I would come back for.
Right, you said that right here on this episode.
I just think I have such high regards for Congo.
Right.
There's another one I just think doesn't get enough recognition, and maybe that's just my naivety that he doesn't get recognition. Maybe he does, but I just feel like a guy like. Maybe it's because he's not 6 feet tall or 6'3", and he's not in the best shape. But that guy's work is I would put up against anybody's right now. When I was part of APW, I would use him to work with these younger kids that needed a spot, right? But I trusted him to take care of these kids,
and he did.
Like the kid V's, like the Monis, like the Keons, the Kyle Halls, and these kids that are now. You're seeing these kids are now progressing, right? A kid like Kid V's been around the business a lot longer. He should have been where he's at now.
Right, because he stepped away.
He stepped away a little while, right? But, Congo has this ability to just take these kids, and even though he's going over strong, he still has an ability to make these kids. Like, the people remember these people.
Right.
And that's a gift, man. That's not everybody can do that.
Right.
If I told, 9 out of 10 guys, if I said, hey, I want you to beat this kid, but I want you to make him at the same time, it would be a squash match.
Right.
And just would be nothing to it. So, he's a talented dude, and that would be the one guy. Once I got my knee replaced and my shoulder, and so 2025.
And talk Betty into letting you
And
get
talk
in the
Betty
ring.
to get me back in there one time. Yeah.
But now, great answer. Great question, Ronnie. Thank you. Dave Padula. He loves Sonny. Does he think what they had at Champs? I like this question too. Do you think what they had at Champs Arena in Salisbury, Mass on the boardwalk could be replicated today? Even if it's just in the summer, wrestling, store, a school, and arena for shows, all in one place.
Champs Arena,
I never went,
Champs Arena was such an awesome place. Literally right on the boardwalk in Salisbury Beach. And it unfortunately only lasted a summer, a little more than a summer because we went into the winter or whatever. But it was awesome because if it was done today, probably with some forethought put into it,
right?
You could have a storefront, right, where you could sell wrestling merchandise.
Yeah.
Do a small concession stand where you have Leo in there.
Yeah.
But it was set up perfectly. Maybe held. It's almost like the NXT thing, whatever it is.
So it would hold like 100 people,
100 and a half maybe, right?
150.
But just an amazing setup.
Right.
Do I think it could last today or work today? I think it could if the right people were at the helm and doing the right things.
Right.
I think at Elite we have the possibility of doing something like that because we have 7,000 square feet.
Right.
We have 3 rings.
Yeah.
So if we started to run shows or even rent it out to run shows there, I think we could be an all-in-one Encompass facility.
Right.
And I think that's in the game, in the game plan or in the works. But it's going to take time because it's financially it needs to happen.
Yes.
But maybe we can get the pen behind us. He seems to be buying everything else up. So maybe
I said to you, it'd be fun to run an art company.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Also, what was your favorite food item at the Commodores? Mine was the steak tip roll-up. Is that yours too?
No, mine was the chicken roll-up. He did a chicken like teriyaki bomb thing essentially.
Who did all this?
This guy, the Commodore. I have no idea what his name was, but he used to like the boys,
Yeah.
So he would every time we'd come up there, he'd always smile at us and he'd give us food and he had a spot on the right on the boardwalk as well, and he loved seeing us every time we come up there. And a lot of us spent time up there. Like Rip Morrison actually moved up to the beach and was working at like a batting cage or something like that.
Yeah.
So he was there all the time. I was there pretty much from Thursday night till Sunday.
Right.
And so we did the Commodore. We're broke kids, you know what I mean?
And he's going to give you food.
Yeah. So we'd work the Commodore.
Right.
So he'd give us food all the time, and he loved us,
Yeah.
Hey, Sonny. I think he was an old Greek guy.
Yeah.
And the name of the place was Commodores, I think, and we just called him the Commodore. And it was awesome. It was awesome. But that place was just the chicken steak. Oh, the chicken bomb was.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Also, let me just read this first.
Sure.
His comment: Chunky but Funky was one of the most entertaining teams in pro wrestling. Always enjoyed watching you, Scott, and Dave. That's just a comment.
Yeah.
But he does have another one. Could you do you have a good or funny memory from the dugout? I don't even know what the dugout is. What?
So the dugout was a little dive bar.
Yeah.
At the at Salisbury Beach. Like when I say dive bar,
right?
Like if you Google dive bar, the dugout is it, right?
Right.
This is the epitome of a dive bar. I remember just everything happened at the dive bar, right? Or at the dugout. I remember one night there used to be this guy. His name was Buddy. He did the music for John Callahan and Big City Mike, and he was a musician, right?
Right.
And he always wanted to be involved in wrestling. He's a badass guy, just a cool guy, great drummer.
Yeah.
I don't run into him. I talk to him. I haven't talked to him probably about 5 or 6 years at this point. But he's another one of those guys.
Great guy.
Every time I see him, I just pick up with him.
Nice.
He was in there one night, and there was an old bartender who actually owned the bar, and we were trying to get Buddy to maybe take one for the team with the old bartender because she was feeding us beers.
Right.
And we figured if somebody's maybe entertaining her for some time, we would continue to get free beers.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
So I'm pretty sure that Buddy took 14 or 15 for the team and
nice.
and helped us out. I remember another time walking in there.
Man.
Yeah, great guy. I remember another time walking in there and all of a sudden Tony Atlas is up singing karaoke. Like where in life do you see this kind of stuff, right? Like Tony Atlas is up in front of 37 people, like singing
getting into it too. I can't see Tony not getting into it.
Some old country song. And do you ever hear Tony speak?
Oh yeah.
So he sings exactly the same.
Right. Nice guy though.
Amazing guy too. Another one. But yeah, same kind of thing. Just like, and then there's one more story I'll tell you off air that I can't tell you on air because it'll get me divorced. And
all right. And
children will.
Dave, I'll forward that message on a direct message from me to you.
I think he knows the story. That's why he's leading on.
Oh, okay.
So.
Jared Dubling, how hard was it to step away from APW? Do you want me to do the second part too, or just?
No, do the second part.
And were you blindsided by it, or did you expect it to happen?
So it was my decision to step away from APW, so I wasn't blindsided by it. What I was blindsided by is the way it was handled. This whole situation, the whole situation was handled by my partner. I thought we were friends.
Yeah.
And I kind of expected him to react more like a friend, and not. He was more concerned, in my opinion. He may debate this, and it's his opinion. It's his thoughts.
Right.
But in my opinion, I felt he was more concerned about the way, about how Chase and Brad Cashew were going to react.
Right.
About this whole thing, and he was more concerned about that, and how he wanted to save face with those guys as opposed to what it was doing to me.
Right.
Which I got super offended by, and
as you should have been.
And I just didn't take it. I was just like, you know what, this kind of like, I'm glad we're not too far into it at this point.
Right.
I mean, I had spent a lot of money. He had spent a lot of money. We had spent a lot of money together.
Yep.
But at that point, I was like, you know what, this is better that I just wash my hands of it now.
Right.
So, and that's what I did. And you know, I'm honestly, people, when they ask me, hey, how you doing? I'm happy.
Good.
I'm in a good place with this. I am happy with the decision I made. Mike seems to be happy and doing okay. You know, we don't talk as often.
Right.
You know, because that is kind of a big rift to come into.
Yeah.
But I do see him. He comes up to Elite every now and again. So I see him up there. You know, and just, it's never going to be the same as it was.
Right.
But, you know, will it ever get better? It probably will, because, again, as I get older, I get softer.
Right.
So, you know, yeah.
Nice. Can I just bring up one thing about
Sure.
APW? Monty Aries just had a huge match against AG, right? I mean, a huge match. Mm-hmm. He beat AG. Mm-hmm. AG put him over. Mm-hmm. And then APW ran a show and Monty Aries wasn't on it. Don't make sense. But yet 7 people from Chaotic were on it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Right.
It really doesn't make sense. You just had a kid, supposedly, like, honestly, I'd say APW's young guys like him, Kid V, how do you not put him on the show the next show? And I think I just read he's not on the next one either.
Really? That's interesting.
You know, and I'll just say it here now. I decided to not do any more APW shows with the concessions. I feel like eventually I was going to be pushed out the door. Maybe, maybe not. Mike's been nothing but great to me.
Sure.
I got no problems with Michael Morse on that.
I think there's other influences, though. You know, and Mike is in a position that he feels like he needs to appease, I think. And if he felt justified making those comments or saying those things, then, you know, then I can't fault him for that, because it is what it is. He's a man, and that's what he, you know, but in the same token, I don't know that I would have done that, you know? I think it's just hard for me to swallow. But again, 50 years old.
Right.
No room for hate in my heart. Yeah.
I hear you. I think I was more upset about everything than you were.
You really were. You really were.
It got to the point where I had to, like, literally.
You had to back off.
I had to, because it was driving me crazy.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't getting the reaction I thought I was going to get. You know what I mean?
Right.
I really didn't. But I do want to say to Michael Morse, thank you for letting me do the concessions. Yeah. I had a great time doing it.
You were awesome.
I really did. You know,
your meatball subs were over.
You know, and he was great to me.
Yeah.
So, all right. Next question is from Mav.
Who?
Yeah. No, Mav. Who was the top heel at the beach? Was it him?
No, it was just the skull. It was the skull.
Who the heck's the skull?
You don't remember the skull?
No, I really
Jeff
don't.
Costa shows?
No. Why don't I remember the skull?
Donnie.
Not that Donnie?
Yeah.
No, but
Yes,
Yeah.
Donnie.
All right.
With 4 rows of teeth like a
you
shark.
You did it the best, though,
Yes.
on my show, his
Yes.
imitation.
It's Donnie. Yeah, Donnie was the top heel of the
Okay.
beach. Donnie, for whatever reason, so he would ride up with me all the time.
Yeah.
And Donnie, for some reason, thought that he was the top heel of the beach. I don't know how he got that, because he literally did nothing but job matches. Like,
Right.
I think they booked him
Probably
one time
why
to
I
work
don't
with, like,
remember him, honestly.
yeah, they booked him one time to work, like, with Perry Saturn, or the Eliminators, whatever.
Did Perry kill him?
Perry took care of him, like,
Good,
but not
good,
like
good.
You know what I mean? Because he knew the situation. Like,
Yeah.
he was like, oh, this guy's obviously not all there. But yet Donnie had it in his head that he was the top heel of the beach, and used to tell me every ride up there, well, I'm the top heel. I'm the top heel. Okay, you're the top heel.
Hey, he had fun.
Yes, he did. He's welcome. You're welcome. I made you have fun. That involves part of the story. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So he's got another one. Is it better to go harder, faster, or both at the same time? Is he talking about wrestling or sex?
Sure. I guess it depends on, both at the same time.
All right.
Yeah.
His last question is, and I know it's like a joke one, but can your wife make me gear?
Yes. Not anymore. She's out of that business.
But she used to be.
Yeah, she used to. Yeah.
Did you ever make anything for him before?
Yeah, she made stuff for him. She made stuff for Antonio Thomas, for Fandango, before he was Fandango, when he was Johnny Curtis.
Antonio Thomas, man. I'd love to have him on here. Maybe you could talk to him for
Probably
me.
not.
Oh, yeah,
he's not leaving his house.
Oh, man.
He works
I'd
from
have
home.
to bring a camera to see him.
He's a teacher.
Yeah.
He's a teacher. He works from home. Just had a baby, so he's got a young son at home. Adorable. I just ran into him a couple weeks ago at a show down at some comic book store or something like that. Ash was down there.
Nice.
So it was like it was a nice, like, because I hadn't seen Antonio in a long time, or Tom in a long time. Scott, I hadn't seen him in a long time, so it was good to see all those guys. Marshall. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know. I met Marshall at your house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
He was a great guy. He's like, Leo, come smoke a cigar.
Leo.
He was great.
He's amazing. He's the best guy.
All right. Yeah. You brought this guy up earlier as a great trader, but Ryan Drew says, give me a Butcher Hughes story. AWA always sounded like the lost bastion of the territories.
So the reason it sounds like that is because it really was, because Jeff Costa and Bruiser and Butcher Hughes were guys that literally, they trained with Kowalski and then got shipped off.
Right.
Like, Kevin got shipped to Japan.
Yeah.
Got kicked out of Japan, and that he was the reason that Kowalski guys couldn't go back for a long time.
Right.
Jeff going to Vancouver, like, he did a couple of, like, local matches for, like, WWF and stuff. But then went to Vancouver, and these guys made their money.
Yep.
Kevin then went to California, Antonio Leone, and worked for him, Anton Leone, or whatever. Yeah, I'm saying it wrong, but
it's all right.
In Bakersfield.
Yep.
And made his living out there, right? And then they came back. So
would it have been Michelle Leone?
No.
Okay. All right.
So, and then Kevin came back, and it just thought it was still like the days of old, right?
Right.
But he doesn't realize that he's dealing with a bunch of 22-year-old kids who don't know really how the business is.
Right.
So, I remember one of the first nights, our first show, these guys came in and they tried to hold Kevin up for more money. Like, not like hold him up like, hey, we're not going to, but they're just like, hey, man, I usually get this. They don't know that Kevin's packing a gun. Kevin carried a gun wherever he went because it's Kevin. Right?
You never know.
So he doesn't, you never know.
Never know.
Right? You never know. So he would carry a gun. It's like they're trying to because that's what they were taught to do from these, it's it's just crazy. Kevin is, man, I miss Kevin so much. But he was just an amazing character.
Yeah.
Like, I've told this story before, and I'll say it again. Like, when Johnny Vegas wrestled a match and he beat somebody by cheating, Kevin's the ring announcer, and he just goes, "Your winner of your match, Johnny Vegas." That cheating bastard. Into the microphone, announces it over, or just out of nowhere, out of the clear blue, nothing, nobody around him anywhere. He just yells, throws his hands in the air, and yells, "Ultimate Warrior." You know what I mean? To the fact where we'd be over Jeff's house watching wrestling, and I'd fall asleep on the couch. I'd wake up at 3:00, and Kevin's just gone. He would just wake up in the middle of the night,
just leave,
because he didn't want to sleep over there because that's not convenient for him.
Right.
And he would go wet his comb his hair, and then take off 2:30 in the morning to drive back to Peabody or whatever. He was the just the most bizarre dude.
But a cool dude at
But the
that,
coolest
though.
dude, right?
Yeah.
And just a guy I was glad to have on my side because he was strong as hell, would snap, and like he would kill somebody.
He'd have you
like
back
that.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yep.
100%. 100%. Like, the one night that he thought Big City Mike was shooting on Jeff Costa because he laid on him for a pin, and Big City was a big dude. So
huge guy.
You can't lay softly when you're 500 pounds.
Yep.
So Kevin ran in and towed him right in the gut, just right in the ribs. Boom, because he thought he was shooting on him. Just kicked him and in the ribs. And Big City, remember, like crawled over and tagged me in. He was like, hey, he thinks it's real. He thinks it's real. Trying to grasp his breath.
Right.
It was insane. But Kevin was just that kind of guy, and always that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like, never did he change.
Right.
Like, you just, like, randomly we would be driving, he would just go, yeah, so they had me out there on the park bench, but I would give the pills to the dogs.
And you'd be like, what are
you talking about? He thought, like, we were having a conversation.
Right.
Nobody had said anything about anything,
yeah.
and he'd just throw that out. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, just amazing.
I love it because I had a very little, you know what I mean? Just a little interaction, but you could tell. He's a nice guy. He came over one time, gave me videos, and I'm like, take something. No, I don't need nothing. I just want you to have them.
He's just
such a really nice guy.
I'm sorry that guys like Ryan Drew didn't really get to meet him and see him like in his not even in his prime, but just like his prime for me. You know what I mean? Like, because they'd appreciate everything a lot more,
My favorite story is the one when you first met him and you were going over the store and he just pulls out the box that you never know.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah, he thought we were going to take a spill in the store and we'd have to cut ourselves and sue him for money.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, happy Thanksgiving to you.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, we got about four or five more questions. Let's get to them so we can talk about everything in wrestling because there's a lot going on. Monty Aries, who was here last week, and I'm still trying to get it up there.
Good.
What's better, Fluff or Nutella? You better have the right answer because I know the.
I'm from New England.
That's
Fluff is better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Nutella's good.
Yeah, I like it.
But I'm not rich, so I'll buy Fluff.
Yeah, Fluff's 99 cents for a big container.
I'm going home tonight. That's what I'm having for dinner because Betty goes, oh, we're going to have like leftovers or whatever, right? So I go, I'm just going to have super chunky peanut butter
and
fluff. And it's going to be this thick.
Nice.
Yeah, I might even throw a little strawberry preserves in there. I don't know.
Sometimes
we'll see how I
put
feel.
the jelly in there, but it's so good.
So better.
Have you ever had just a jelly and Fluff? Because I'll tell you, that's incredible.
That's a great sandwich too.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
Money, how did you not know this? Money?
Yeah, Money. Come on. Get
All
with
right.
it.
GK Durant.
Georgie.
Should B.A. Tatum and you team up one last time to face Todd Sopel and I in a dance-off rematch?
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't know that this even happened. I don't know if it actually did happen.
Well, I think it happened.
But apparently it happened. So yes, I'm going to say the answer is yes. But B.A. is going to have to do all the work.
Right.
And I'll just handle the dancing on the outside. Yeah.
I got to ask, would that have been for Liberty States? Did you ever work for Liberty States?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to work for Todd quite a bit, yeah.
Hey, I got to say, right, and you guys know, I'm not the biggest of his fans, but I will say this, that kid can play the guitar. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable. Todd, you're great at the guitar, man.
Shreds,
you really are.
He really does.
Incredible.
He shreds.
I wish I could play the guitar like that. I'm jealous, Todd, of you playing the guitar so good. Ken Watson, what was it like working on the wrestling movie, The Deepest End? How did I not know you worked on a movie?
So we did a ring rental. Pat Dillon has hooked us up with, right?
Love Pat.
And it was I don't even know what town it was. It was one of Pat's towns.
Yeah.
In this great building, memorial building or something like that. And it was awesome. And he works at a college.
Yes.
A theatrics college.
Yeah. Similar to what I do.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Right. So so one of the students there said, "Hey, Pat, I know you're involved in wrestling. My senior thesis is based off a wrestling movie. I'd like, can you help me out with this?" So Pat hooked him up with a ring rental, hooked him up with this building, hooked him up some extras and stuff like that. We actually, we helped work some of the spots for the guys like to do. It was long. It was supposed to be like a 10 to 6, and I'm thinking, all right, so if the show starts at 8 or at 10, we'll get there at 8. They said, no, you're not getting in the building till 10. So I have me and my crew there to unload the ring at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
2 hours early. They wouldn't let us into the building till 10. We set up the ring. 6 o'clock was supposed to be done, right? Because we rented the ring truck and everything, right? So at this point, I'm like, if we cut it any closer, we're going to lose money on this.
Right.
I took the guys out for lunch because it was such a long day. Paid for the lunch, and then 6 o'clock comes. I'm like, all right, let's start tearing down. They're like, all right, we have a couple more shots. I'm like, no. I'm like, no. Like, I was like, how much? Just one more shot. I'm like, so next thing you know, it's 7 o'clock. We tore that ring down. It's an 16-foot ring.
Right.
We had it torn down in the truck in 20 minutes.
Wow.
It was awesome. The guys worked so hard. Was so proud. Mike Morris and I ended up losing money on that ordeal.
Right.
But I ended up paying the ring crew. I gave the money to Jay and I said, do whatever you got to do with it. I said, Mike's just going to have to deal with it. We just lost money on it. But I appreciate Pat hooking us up with it. And but it was fun, though. It was cool to see. I would have actually, I wish I had known about it earlier because I would have said, man, I'll come in and do something.
Right.
Because it was fun. But how many shots they had to take for each, like just for one line.
Right.
Shooting the same thing 15 times.
Wow.
And I'm like, the one thing they did is they had a chair shot, right? And they had a gimmicked chair that they bought.
Right.
So they only had one chance to do that, right?
Yeah.
So I've taken 100 chair shots.
Right.
And a couple of guys have taken chair shots and we're watching them. The kid who's taking the chair shot, we see him they're loading him up with a padding on his back.
Yeah.
They're showing him how to do it, but they're showing him with a piece of cardboard, like a pizza box or something like that. And I'm like,
that's not going to work.
Padding on the back. I'm like, why didn't I think of that? All those chair shots I took. But they pulled it off. They hit the chair shots. It looked like, remember the Tony Atlas and Rocky Johnson hitting the Samoans?
Yeah.
It looked like that.
Where it just hung on his head.
Yeah, it exploded. It was such a cool visual.
Right.
I hope that the kid got the shot because it was awesome to see. And I'm excited about it coming out. I don't remember what it was called. What was it called?
The Deepest End.
That's the one. Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah. And Pat's supposed to give me the Iggy when he's coming out. So I hope I get to watch it because it'll be fun. I got to play an extra. I was in the crowd cheering and whatnot.
Oh, that's cool. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
Pat's a great guy because he hooks me up. He's been hooking me up with concession jobs too.
He's
Him
awesome.
and Ty Mitchell.
Yep. Are you doing that Bill Ricker show?
Yeah, absolutely. Nice. October 14th, and then I got Pat's on October 22nd.
Well, I'm going to the 22nd.
Nice. I'll be there. All right, Dave Forney's got a bunch of questions.
Dave Forney.
What is a typical day for you like when training at the Elite Pro Wrestling Academy?
So I show up. I usually drive up with Will because Will's one of the students. Yeah, Will Duncan.
Former guest.
Yeah. And so we meet up. I'll drive to his house and we'll drive up together.
Right.
So, because we both drive big, stupid gas guzzling trucks. So, we don't want to waste too much gas. And then we get warmed up and then we just have them run drills.
Yeah.
Right now, actually, we're at a point where we're actually running practice matches for these guys. And then we'll sit and critique it. And then I always like to throw in promos at the end. And I do promos like very irreverent. Like I'll just throw out a topic and I'll have
Monty
him cut
said
a promo.
you asked him to do something. Do you remember what it was? Because he said do it, and he was like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah, I'll say something like one kid, this Lorenz kid who's a student up there. I said, "Tell me why you're a bubble bath guy," and he was like, "Huh?" And I said, "Camera's rolling. Let's go."
Yeah.
Give me 40 seconds or
How'd he
whatever.
do?
You did great.
Nice.
Right? When you can just talk, it doesn't have to make sense or anything like that. I just need your delivery, right? And I just need you to think outside the box.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times it's too many guys come out there and go, "Well, let me tell you something," or "When I get you in that ring,"
right?
Think outside the box. Like just be creative, right? And just I get them thinking. Like it's wrestling is a creative. It's a creative art.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Like
it is.
And everybody interprets it differently, right? So why have the same cookie cutter promo that the guy before you and the guy after you is going to have, right? Think outside the box. I like to get them thinking, and I do that kind of with the matches too, right? Like everybody, like if you're in the rear chin lock and you throw the 3 elbows, everybody knows you're throwing the 3 elbows and hitting the ropes, right? Why do you have to throw 3? Well, it's because it's the way it's always been done. Think outside the box, right?
Yep.
Just do those kind of things, and that's obviously simple and small, but on a bigger scale though, I like them to think.
Right.
Bigger,
And you got Ronnie refereeing those matches, giving him plenty of experience.
And Ronnie's been inside the ring. Like we've actually, I had him working with Malik, who's going to be a guest coming up, right?
Malik Logan, yes, next weekend.
Yeah, next week. You're right.
Next week.
So Malik's coming up. So I had him working arm drag spots with Ronnie, and Ronnie was like so excited. I thought he was going to cry.
Because I know he is, like you told me. that he's going to train, but it gets his foot in the door quicker. And he said to me, that's so appreciative. He gets in there quicker.
Yeah,
and
because
he can learn to wrestle.
Ronnie is a small guy, so his foot in the door is going to be refereeing.
Right.
And then, hey, you have a mask. You throw a mask and some gear on the kid, and now he can still referee and wrestle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's Ronnie's gonna, when Ronnie gets it all together, he's gonna be in a better spot because he can do dual.
Right.
So it's going to be better for him.
But you and Mike Hall both said he's a great guy. You guys are 100% right.
Yeah.
Really, really great kid. All right. Any prospects from the school that we should keep an eye on? Mm-hmm. Good question, Dave.
So we have a kid named Keon up there.
Yep.
You've seen him on APW shows. Lorenz is coming along.
Who's going to be on a couple weeks?
Yeah. The politician who you've had on.
Yep.
Politician
Pro wrestling politician.
Has made big strides.
Nice.
Big strides in the
good
6
guy,
months.
Too.
Not even 6 months, right?
I like Matt.
4 months, 3
Good
months.
guy.
Yeah, Matt, he's a really good guy.
He is.
And he's passionate.
Right.
He's passionate about what he does for, the politics. He's passionate about wrestling. He's passionate about everything. He's one of my favorite promos to watch, right? Because he thinks he's doing a babyface promo, and I'm like, no, man, you came off like a jerk. And then when he tries to do a heel promo, and I'm like, nope, that was a babyface one, right? Because it's the politician is such a polarizing character, right? Because it's politics. Nobody wants to talk politics.
Right. Nobody really likes him either.
Nobody
like
really likes him, right? They're necessary evil,
right?
But he does a really good job with it. He buys into the gimmick because he's passionate about it. So Matt is progressing. He's getting himself into better shape.
Nice.
He's just one of those guys that he's gonna get there.
Do you happen to know if he won in the election?
So nobody ran.
For him.
Yeah, nobody ran against him.
Oh, so he won.
So that was just the in the primaries.
So now in November 8th. Again, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll be voting for him again though. I like Matt.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
And I hope he succeeds because that's going to be a great character.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. He's like I said, a passionate guy.
Right.
Talks the talk, walks the walk. So it's good. It's
all
good
right.
to have that.
We got to get through these last bit of questions. Because see how fast it went?
I know.
All right. Any good? When is the Chunky but Funky reunion happening? Never, right?
Again, Scott's still working.
Right. So
Dave,
he could.
Yeah, Dave won't be wrestling again. Dave, unfortunately, lost his foot from below, just the knee below.
Right.
So he won't be wrestling anymore. But he came. Actually, he hasn't come up to the school yet, but I am bringing him up.
Nice.
Scott's still working though. Scott will get out of the house every now and again.
I gotta meet that guy, man.
You still haven't
never even met him. Nope.
So there may be someday, but in this business, I always say never say never.
Right.
But I'm confident that I'm saying never. You know what I mean? But
you'd have a better chance to have a Chunky but Funky reunion on the show.
Yes. Yep. Exactly.
All right. So Dave, let's hope for that, my friend, because Dave's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Any good Jeff Costa stories that you haven't told yet?
Probably not. No.
Right. You've been on 10 times.
Yeah. So I just saw Jeff Costa at Kevin's funeral actually, and that guy just hasn't changed. He just came in and was instantly. It was like he had his own gravitational pull. You know what I mean? He's a character.
Yeah.
He's
100%.
He's not like a. You're not going to be like, oh, I don't know what that guy is. He could be an English teacher or an engineer. You're like, no, that guy's a carny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
100%.
that's just, and he's just always on.
Right.
And he's like never, he just never changed.
Right.
From when I met him, 1992, right? 30 years.
Yeah.
Just never changed.
I wish you would have been here when he was on that time. It was great having Rip and Matt, but I wish you were here too.
Yeah.
Not like in place of one of them.
Right.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah,
they pulled up. I didn't know he was coming. Matt kept it a secret.
Which is crazy to me because, Jeff is impossible to get to do these kind of things.
Yeah.
So, it was good though. It was good.
All right, last one, Jerry Lane. Who do you see? I like this question, Jerry. Who do you see as the next breakout star in the indie scene? I have my pick. Who do you got?
Who's your pick?
Alec Price. Honestly, Alec Price.
Yeah,
man.
I hear he's doing a lot of good things. I haven't seen him in a long time,
but everywhere. Let's put it this way: if you haven't seen him in a long time, you're gonna be blown away.
I heard he's still younger, right? 20 years old or something.
He's very young.
So he's still a kid. Like I equate to like AG. Remember, like AG? I was like, oh, when that kid finally puts on, I kept calling it the man weight. You know what I mean? Like that, just that 20 pounds of
and
being
look
an
what
adult,
he did.
You know
And look at him.
Yeah. Alex Price. I'm a big fan of BRG.
I like him a lot too, and Channing Thomas.
Yeah,
I do. I like both of them guys.
Mac Daniels out of Maine.
Yep.
Mac Daniels is a.
CJ Cruz, I do like. He's real. He had a great match the other night.
Yeah, with Kinsey.
Yeah, it was great.
I think kids like I think guys like Cassius Hall and Keon,
Kid V, Monty, they're all up and coming.
And those kids, like a kid like Monty, has an infinite road. He just turned 24 years old or something like that, 23 years old.
Yep.
And he's another kid who's getting himself into shape. I'm constantly trying to, I constantly try to talk to him, and like at least once a week I reach out to him and Kid V, because they're, because I'm training at Elite, they're at Next Gen, so we don't really see each other as much. But I try to reach out to them as often as I can, just stay in contact and just try to. Is that rain?
I hope not.
And just try to promote, just try to help push them. You know what I mean? Because I like those kids. Like I like those guys a lot. So
I think they have bright futures. But like I said, just at the moment, I'm thinking Alec Price, Channing Thomas, very good. BRG. He's starting to get booked out elsewhere now too.
Yeah.
So
he's BRG he's a talented kid.
Yeah, Donovan Piper.
Kid. Yes,
Remember that? Remember that story?
Yes. Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
All right, so we got 60 minutes. Do you want to talk about AEW or WWE?
Let's talk about both. Let's start. Yeah.
All right. Who was really wrong looking back at the scrum and what happened? Who do you think was wrong?
So none of us really know what happened. What happened behind the scenes, right?
Right.
Do I think that Punk was right coming out there and just airing out the dirty laundry? I don't.
Right.
Not without saying. Like, unless, and again, this could have happened. He could have gone to those guys and said, hey, listen, I'm going out there and I'm just going to say, I'm going to air my grievances, right? Yep. I don't believe that happened because of the altercation or the supposed altercation, right? Then when it came out that, like, the Young Bucks came in and kicked the door down, I've never met the Young Bucks.
Right.
I can't see them
being
aggressive
know how I
like
feel
that.
About the Young Bucks.
I just can't see them being aggressive like that and going, what the hell, and kicking the door down. Do I think something happened? Clearly something happened. Right. Do I know what it was? I don't. You don't know. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
But I would say that Tony Khan has a situation on his hand that he has to get a hold of quickly.
Yeah. I thought he was disrespectful to Tony Khan.
It was. It was very disrespectful. Right?
That's why I don't think he'll be back.
Unless he said, Tony, this is what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to, this is how I feel. This is what I'm going to say. You're never bigger than the business. You know what I mean? And I came across that way, that he was holier than thou or the almighty. And it didn't sit right with me. But again, I don't know what the conversations were, what happened afterwards, but I just think that it has to get handled, and like, it'll get handled. Right. But we'll never hear about it. You know what I mean?
And if it was worked, Punk is a smart enough guy, been around long enough to make that work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I thought I was just blown away of how Tony Khan was like.
Yeah, I don't think those work shoots ever really work out.
Right.
Like, they just never, because the majority of your fans aren't smart. Right. You're talking about a handful of fans that are smart to the inner workings of the business, right? Or what they think is the inner workings.
Right.
The general public isn't going to know what's going on. So why? They're just going, wow, you came across like an ass. Yeah. Like, doesn't make any sense,
But he is kind of an ass. I mean,
that's what I hear.
He really is.
Yeah, that's
He's
what I
really
hear.
not a very nice guy. But I'll be honest with you, he is so talented, right, Sonny?
The D.
Yeah, no, that's for,
That's for Dynamite Derek Dukes.
Yeah.
You
called him out, brother.
I called him out.
You called him out. And then he blocked me. I'm not blocked anymore, though.
Oh, you're not?
I could see his, it keeps coming up. You might know, and I keep passing it. Like, I'm good.
Reach out to him. See how he's doing.
I'm good with that. All right. One more thing from AEW that I thought was wild. Chris Jericho winning the Ring of Honor Championship from Claudio. And I'm sorry, but that had to be a power play by Jericho. So, I want...
See, I disagree.
You do, really?
I think it brings a little bit of star power to it, right? I think Claudio's an amazing worker. I think he really is. I don't think he has the star power like a Jericho does, right? So if you're trying to get another TV deal for Ring of Honor...
Oh, that's true. You're right. You're right.
Who would you rather have?
Jericho.
A guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that was the reason behind it. And I think if that is the case, then that's genius because...
True. You're right.
And Chris is having some of the best matches of his career, like at 51 years old.
Right.
And working these guys that are like, he's found that fountain of youth, like he said. It's crazy. Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like about was the wizard one. He's a wizard now. That just was weird to me.
But
he made it work.
He makes everything work,
I know he does.
Because every time he comes up with a different catchphrase, throw in a T-shirt, it sells thousands. It just...
And with his longevity,
himself, right?
he has to be in the top of greatest of all time. He's got to
Absolutely.
be.
He's got to be, right? 10 years ago, would you have said it? Probably not. But
Right.
now you're like, my God, look at this! What this guy's done, right?
Right.
Like just he reinvented himself when he left and went to Japan and became the pain
Even
maker.
before he went there. Just
Yeah.
the
click of the pen, right? Making
pen.
the list, right?
Bob the Pen.
Yeah, Bob the Pen. Yeah. Bob the Pen. He's a shooter.
Anything else from AEW you would like to touch up on?
So what else has been going on? Oh, the girls' matches. Have you been seeing those? Like the sloppy finish?
Wicked.
Like Britt broke her nose the other night
Yeah.
or something, right? Like that's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough.
She turned me though. When I first saw her in AEW, I wasn't a fan.
Yeah.
But man, with those promos she was doing at the beginning,
Doing great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Seriously, she won me over like that.
Yeah. So they're doing some good things. Like they do have a big roster. I don't watch the other shows, the Dark and the Elevation.
Right. I don't watch
know
Dark.
that
I watch Rampage and Dynamite.
I know.
That's it.
What is it? Bear Country? Is that
Bear
what they were
Country,
here? They changed their
They
name
changed
now.
is it the name or the look?
The name and the look. The Steel something.
I don't know what they're called.
But I'd like to see more of them because
Right.
I remember those guys from around here and they were really good.
Oh yeah.
I think it was great what they did with the Acclaimed.
Right.
Like when they talk about like homegrown teams, that was definitely those two guys worked together.
They
in
came up
Jersey and stuff.
together.
They came up together and stuff.
Yeah.
But didn't really team, and then they put them together. And
Right.
that's talking about building like organically,
Right.
like getting a following. And those guys were heels, and that just like the Bryan Danielson, the crowd just turns,
Right.
and next thing you know, they're buying your shit. Sorry, buying your crap, and you're one of the most over acts there is, which is crazy to me. But I love to see those kind of stories. It doesn't matter what it is. I love to see those organically built stories that succeed.
Right.
Scissor me, daddy. Come on. Like, how crazy is that?
I gotta say, we saw Max Caster for the first time with AG shows. Remember
right.
that?
Yeah, that's right.
And Gardner, I think, was the first time I saw him. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
That's
good,
insane.
man.
Yeah.
And Bowens.
And he's big. Yeah.
Strong. You know what I mean? They're very, very, well, they're the AEW Tag Team Champions.
That's good stuff.
One more thing about AEW. Jungle Boy. The kid's got the name. Is he gonna put it together?
Yeah.
I want him to.
He's still young.
Right.
I don't know how many years he has in the business. There's not many.
I want him to succeed.
But every one of the matches is
Right.
good. You never say,
Yeah,
crappy
no,
match,
you're right.
And if they keep doing what they're doing with him, like working with a guy like Christian,
Yeah.
who is one of those guys that like the workers say that guy is amazing.
Right.
Right. So doing matches with him or whatever, he's only going to get better, and he's young. He has the look. Promo skills are getting a little rough, but they're getting better.
Yeah.
And
he said he doesn't like doing it. He needs to just keep
but unfortunately,
diving into it.
yeah, it's part of the
It'll
business,
come. It'll
and
come.
that's what's going to get you over. So,
Right.
but yeah, that kid is a future superstar for sure. That kid's going to be around a long time.
Right.
MJF, same kind of thing. Like, just that kid is.
Unbelievable.
What can you say about him? Yeah. You just like his
Best heel in the business.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's
Yeah.
He's 23, I think he is.
I think he's 25 now.
Is he 25
yeah.
now? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Kid
but
is
yeah,
incredible, though. All right.
amazing. Yeah.
WWE. Vince is gone. Laurinaitis is gone. I have to say it. Good. Vince has got a little. I wasn't liking Vince's direction at the end there. I really didn't like it at all.
I think it got a little. Repetitive. Like, I'm not a big fan of starting every show off with a promo that leads to a match, and they just did that. It seemed like they just did it every single show, right? Like a 15 or 20-minute promo to start the show that turned into a match later on.
Right. And they weren't as good as The Rock or Austin. They could do that stuff.
Right. Just just it's not the same. These scripted promos.
Right.
Like, let the guys riff off the cuff a little bit and just and go from there. But I think the direction it's going is better.
Right.
Like I think bringing guys back like Karrion Kross and who else did he bring back?
Hit Row.
Those guys were over. So
Yep.
bringing those guys back. Braun Strowman, whatever. That guy's a monster. Like
They
just for the
built him
size
up
alone.
as a monster, then they let him go. Now they got to rebuild him again.
Yeah, but they're doing a good job of
Yeah.
it. Like he just came and decimated the tag team division in 4 minutes or whatever. So
And it looks believable because look at the
he's a
size.
giant.
He's
Yeah.
bigger than Brock.
yeah, he's enormous.
Yeah.
Enormous. And he has a six-pack.
I like
now.
Braun Strowman.
Yeah. So bringing guys back like that and bringing the girls back,
Right.
letting them showcase. Like, didn't they just main evented Raw this past Monday, right?
Yes. Yes.
Last Monday.
Was it Liv?
Yeah,
No,
Liv and Bailey, right?
Yes.
Or Liv and somebody. Yeah,
I think it was Bailey.
Yeah.
Oh, they're leading to that. At least I know
yeah,
that.
I think, or whatever it was. But yeah, like just that's the kind of stuff that's, let these girls do. Like they're working hard. All
Right.
these girls, and they deserve that kind of space. Moving people around, I'm a big fan of that. Like,
Right.
you're not doing anything with Apollo Crews, put him back on an NXT,
Yeah.
right? Because that guy's been around the world before he got to WWE. Let him work with some of these young guys,
Right.
and that kid's, again, another one, never going to have a bad match.
Right.
I just think the whole direction is just better for everybody involved. I think, I don't think the changes are done yet.
Yeah.
I think there's still going to be a lot of stuff going on.
Right.
Because, how can you, Vince was at the helm for what, 40 something years, almost 50 years, right?
A long time.
It's going to take a long time to change those kind of things, right? Because
Yep.
it's just embedded, like
Right.
it's like if McDonald's just came out today, we're changing the way we're doing our burgers and fries now. You know what I mean? It's like when New Coke came out with New Coke. Remember
Yeah.
it was, people were freaking burning houses down in the streets.
They were so mad.
Yeah, and they had to go back to it, right?
Yep,
The old
yep.
formula. So New Coke isn't a thing. It's just people aren't. The old saying is, change is inevitable, suffering is optional, right?
Nice.
So you just get through it, right?
Right.
So I think a lot of these guys, letting Kevin Owens be that,
Do his thing.
do his thing.
Yeah.
That promo we cut
Yeah.
last week on Austin Theory was awesome.
It was.
It was so good, like so passionate. You could see it coming out of him, right?
Right.
Tonight, aren't they having a match tonight? Austin
Yes.
and
Austin and Owens, right?
I think it's a tag match.
Is it a tag match? I don't know.
Yeah, it's Owens and Gargano against Austin and somebody.
Is this Gargano's first match back?
No, he
Did he?
wrestled
Because I
Chad
didn't see
Gable.
last week.
Chad Gable 2 weeks ago, I think.
Oh, okay.
It was a great match. Yeah.
Right.
So that's another. This is going to be good for Tommaso. This is going to be good for all those kind of guys.
Right.
So you're going to get to see them shine. You're going to get to see them do what got them there. You know?
Right.
Because a lot of times what gets them there, and then they get there, and then they change it,
Yeah.
and then they're like, well, how come you can't get over?
Right.
Because I'm not doing what I was doing. That got me here. So
Right.
yeah,
Well, and look at Sami Zayn. That stuff with the bloodlines.
amazing.
That's my favorite thing. I'll
So
watch it 2
entertaining.
times in a row. That's how good it is.
So entertaining.
Yeah.
That kid is like, who would have ever thought,
right.
like, him being
Ole!
LJ, always having great matches, right?
Yeah.
Again, and never one who had bad matches.
Brainbuster.
But just to be as entertaining as he is, like his mannerisms, his facials, the way his body language, everything about him is just entertaining.
Yeah.
That kid's money.
I wonder how much Paul is helping him. Do you know what I mean? Like, because you just said the facials, the movements, all that. He's been great. And Roman Reigns is doing the best work he's ever done in the last 2 years because he's been champ.
That
what,
heel
2
run,
years?
yeah, that heel run, this heel run that he's doing
Is it 900 days as a champ?
I don't remember.
It's a long
I know it's
time.
I think it's over 700. I think, right?
Wow.
They celebrate.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
All right, local guy, Triple H, yay or nay? I say yay all the
absolutely.
way. It's been great.
Yeah, he's just. I think he's kind of like that. That mix, right? He's like, he recognizes what got them there, right? But recognizes what's going to get them past.
Yes.
Right. What's going to get us to tomorrow.
Yep.
And I think he recognizes that. The days of the Giants are gone. The days of 15-minute arm bars and abdominal stretch for a finish. Those days are
Headlocks
gone,
laying
right?
on the mat.
Yeah. Like there's still room for it. You know what I mean? But those days are gone, and I think he recognizes that. And it doesn't need to be campy. Like a lot of the stuff Vince liked was like campy.
Yeah.
Like the whole stuff. Like, I mean, how many times could you see R-Truth fight for the 24/7 title, right? And interrupt an actual match.
Yeah.
Like it just, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff is just, it's campy. It's hokey.
Right.
I think we're going to see that stuff done away with, right?
And more serious stuff.
Yeah. The stuff
Angles
we're seeing
and
now
things.
with the White Rabbit thing or whatever,
yeah.
right?
Is that Bray Wyatt? Is that Karrion Kross?
Who knows? Yeah.
He was called the White Rabbit in Lucha Underground, right? It was like part of his name.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's that stuff's intriguing, right? It's got everybody talking about it, right?
I love that song too. Always have.
It's a great song.
Awesome
it's a great song. So like those kind of things are like, it's just he's changing the culture.
Yeah.
And I think he's got everybody behind him because they consider him to be the boss, but
Right.
still one of the boys.
Yes.
You know, and
He
I
has a
think
lot of respect from
there's
the boys.
a ton of respect from the boys,
Yeah.
right? So it's just, I think it's just a different time, and I think that Triple H is the guy that's gonna, you know, was the clear choice to do it. You know,
Nice. So I read an interview with of Ricochet putting
Yep.
over Carmelo Hayes, saying that why can't he be on the main roster? If was it Solo? How do you say
Sikoa, yeah,
Sikoa,
Solo,
right? If
yeah.
he can be, why can't Carmelo?
Carmelo can for sure. That kid has been talented for a long time.
Yeah.
Right. So, but
His
I think,
matches in NXT have been phenomenal.
but I think that's a kid you need to keep down in NXT a little while
Yeah.
to carry that brand. Right. And I
right.
think that's the holdup, right? Because is he ready for main roster? Probably.
Right.
Like, could he go have matches with any one of those guys? Yeah, absolutely. But have him stay down there in NXT a little bit and have him be the workhorse of NXT, kind of like, you know, they used to do where, like, you know, you had the heavyweight champ,
Right.
and then you had the IC champ who was the
Who
actual
was the
workhorse, right?
Yeah.
So
Who wrestled on all the shows while the champ wrestled once in a while.
Yeah.
Not on every show.
right,
Let's
right.
put it that
And they're
way.
not going exactly back to that, but
Right.
I could see that, you know, they're building Braun up to be that monster guy.
Yep.
You know, like, and then Carmelo's just working everybody, facing
Incredible,
everybody,
man.
and having great matches with everybody, you know. So it's,
I mean,
it's good.
Gargano, Adam Cole. I mean, the list just goes on
Yeah,
and on
all
and
those
on.
guys. Yeah.
It's incredible. And I just hope, you know, when he does come up, they don't drop the ball. Now with Vince gone, I don't think they will drop the ball. I don't know if you know this, but there was a thing I read a few months ago that Shawn Michaels said that Carmelo Hayes went up to him and said, I want to be the guy. And Shawn said, okay. He goes, no, I want to be the guy.
Yeah.
And Shawn said, let's make that happen.
Yeah.
Sean, make that
kid's
happen.
good, right, absolutely.
Because he's definitely good enough.
Yeah.
So, you want to plug any social media or anything?
Listen, yes, I want to go to Elite Pro Wrestling Academy on all formats. Like, follow, subscribe, do whatever you got to do. We're on TikTok. We're on everything, right? If you ever thought wrestling was maybe for you, give us a call, give us an email, whatever the case is, and I will set you up for a free class. You can come check out a class one night. Like I said, we got 3 rings. Check us out, Elite Pro Wrestling Academy, and on all social media. Check us out.
Sonny, thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Leo.
All right, man.
Ready?
We're out.
Peace.
Hi, guys. I hope you're enjoying the show. Listen, I could use a little help to grow my YouTube channel. So if you could please like, share, and subscribe. That's most importantly, subscribe. Send me a direct message, and I'll give you a shout out here on the show. My YouTube channel is real simple. It's just my name, Leo Connors. Thanks in advance. Peace.